Great. So I think we're going to go ahead and get started. So first, we are, I'm just going to give a brief agenda in terms of what is happening, in terms of what we're going to go over in this call. So first, we're going to do a quick intro. This just basically waiting for people to trickle in. And then usually the way we do these things is we first give you an update on all the engineering work that that is completed. We're going to go and talk about some of the work that is currently being done in progress. So if you guys are wondering what the team is working on, where our focus is, we'll go over those things. And then lastly, we'll go over the foundation and community updates. Typically for the intros, we have some jokes. Unfortunately, we didn't prepare any jokes. But if you guys have really juicy jokes, please share them in the chat. Okay, great. So I'm gonna hand it over to Jason to talk over the first bit, which is some of the engineering work that has been completed and then went into the last release. Jason, do you want to hop on? Okay, great. Uh-oh, I don't think we can hear Jason. I see there's a person trying to get on stage to speak. If you have a question, please use the chat. Otherwise, this is not, this is more of a internal team update. But yeah, Jason, if you're speaking, we cannot hear you.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Perfect.
Okay. In 2024, if you want to speak, you must restart Discord. Okay, yeah, so pretty excited about the latest 2.5.0 update we put out. It is two changes. One is a exciting change. We've actually improved the performance in the CLI for wallet scanning. So what this did is if you actually start the node now, you might, a lot of people have kind of complained that their balances take a long time to update. We are basically underutilizing the machine's CPUs to calculate your balance and perform a lot of different wallet operations to check which nodes belong to your wallets and accounts. So now one of our engineers, Andreas, put in actually a significant amount of work to optimizing that. However, one thing to note with this change is now that it'll be significantly faster, is that we use more CPU, more cores. So we've done two things. We've actually increased the amount of workers that can start up in your machine. If you find that it's using too many cores, you can reduce it using an option we'll link in the chat. And two, we were basically only sequentially scanning the blockchain to figure out your balance for one account at a time. So now we're actually, if you have multiple accounts, you'll see a significant improvement. And so we're parallelizing that scanning. So it is significantly faster now. We want to thank our engineer, Andrea, who's actually out today, for all the hard work he's put into that performance improvement. The other major change is if you are a CLI user, remember we have some people using the Node app, we have some people using wallet products like Oreo Wallet and Fox Wallet. But if you're a technical user that likes to use the CLI, one thing that we're proud of is being a very easy to use product. And another engineer and myself, Matt, we actually started to think about doing what we call the CLI refresh. So we did a pretty big audit on all of our CLI commands and made significant changes that just went out in the recent release. If you look around, you'll see a number of updates, like many commands now support --JSON to get machine readable output from a command instead of just human readable output. There are many descriptions being updated. We deleted old commands that were years old that nobody used. We fixed a lot of bugs in various commands. This still hasn't been applied to all the wallet commands, but this will come next in the next update. So now that we cleaned up a lot of the commands, we're going to tackle the wallet section of the CLI commands. And we're pretty excited about it because we're passionate about making sure Ironfish is the easiest to use product, easiest to use CLI. And so this is us executing on that promise to you. So I think that is all the major updates that went out in this change. So I'll hand it off back to Elena. And I love this visualization of the agenda.
Yeah. Just to kind of add on to that, I think like most tools have a really I don't know, scary CLI interface. And I think for Ironfish in particular, like we want to make sure that people who have never even used the terminal before, or maybe have like very limited experience of using the terminal and CLI tools in the past, can really navigate Ironfish in a very easy way, and everything is very intuitive. And I think that's always been the case. And so this feature in particular is like pretty exciting in order to like navigate those CLI commands. So check it out. Don't be afraid of using the CLI. You will definitely be an Ironfish power user if you use it, and get everything you need out of your node. All right, moving on is we're gonna talk about some of the engineering work that is currently in progress. So there's a lot of things that are happening in progress, so we'll kind of start one by one. So the first one is ledger support. So as you guys know, we've been kind of working on ledger support for quite some time. We're actually working with an external company called Zondax to actually get our ledger integration through the official process, to get it through the ledger approval process and so on. But there's still a lot of work on our side to make sure that it's really great experience and has all the features that we need. So I'll let Joe kind of kick it off on some of the work that he's been working on.
Thanks. Yeah. Uh, Another engineer, Raul, and I have been working on ledger support, like Elena suggests, in tandem with Zondax. And just recently, we actually fully proved that our wallet and even our multi-sig wallet is compatible with Ledger, and that is the final piece for us being able to ship our bridge. So we're pretty excited to get this out because not only will it provide support for Ledger for our community, but also for bridge operators as well. Yeah, and you should see that in the coming month or two. I'd say also we have some stuff going with the Node app, and I'll let Dan talk about that.
Hey everybody. Yeah, so we've also been adding Ledger support to the Node app so that if you have a Ledger device, you can actually submit transactions from your Ledger account. And we actually wrapped up like the work to get that feature complete. It's not released yet. We still have to do internal testing, but like we've submitted transactions using Ledger devices to the network, and I actually want to demo that real quick. So I don't think I've shared my screen on Discord before. So let's see if I can figure out how to do that.
Yeah, let me go ahead and stop streaming so I think you can. You might have to restart your Discord.
Oh no, I see the share your screen. Let's see.
Awesome.
Yep, so hopefully everyone can see my Node app that I have up. And yeah, like currently I'm connected to testnet since we've been testing this on testnet. So a couple things are going to change when we do release this. So now when you go to add account, you'll be able to click connect ledger to actually connect your ledger account and like import it into the Node app. So I've already done that, and you can see here that this is my ledger account. It's got this little ledger chip, and then it says the name of my ledger device. So now if I go to send, um, and I want to send from my ledger, I just same flow as sending a normal transaction in the beginning. So who I'm going to send it to, the asset. Let's say that I'm going to send 0.002 iron. Here I've got the confirmation details, and then when I go to confirm and send, so I've got my ledger device plugged into my computer right now. I haven't opened the Ironfish app on my ledger, so I'll do that right now. Cool, so I'm ready to go. Hit continue, and then I know you can't see this, but my ledger device is asking me to approve the transaction. So I'm gonna scroll over to approve and hit continue. And yeah, just like that, we submitted the transaction. I can actually go view it. And yeah, there's the 0.002 iron that I just sent. So yeah, super exciting stuff. And yeah, we'll keep you guys posted in terms of like testing and when we're going to release this. But yeah, that's it for the Ledger Node app demo.
That is an amazing demo. Thank you so much. And I haven't seen all of the illustrations, so that was really cool to see. That was very, very well done. But yeah, I just want to say, you know, having the Ledger integration with Ironfish is no small feat. Again, Ironfish, everything is, you know, zero knowledge proof based. The actual signatures require different curves that different chains don't have, and so the actual feat of getting all these signatures on Ledger, with Ledger's like very limited memory, has been like a technical challenge, and the team has done extremely well with it. So really happy to see all the progress and how seamless the entire product is. And it's, as always, very beautiful. All right, next up is going to be EVM on Ironfish update. So this is by far our biggest project that we'll be focusing until end of year. And first, I want to invite Jason over to kind of give a little bit more color and context about why we're so excited about this project, what this means. I've seen some people being confused about whether or not EVM on Ironfish means that we'll replace our entire privacy technique with an EVM. That is not the case. The reason why this project is so exciting is because the EVM data structure will live side by side with the UTXO private data storage of Ironfish, and so we'll have two paradigms of transparent transactions on the EVM side, as well as the private UTXO transactions that Ironfish has today. And so the EVM is not replacing any of the privacy aspects of Ironfish. It's actually adding programmability. So Jason, please share more color with that.
Yeah, so just a little bit of an introduction for people who don't remember who I am. I am the CEO of IF Labs. We have a lot of engineers that are contributing to the Ironfish ecosystem. And so, you know, we're kind of like part of the engineering arm of Ironfish. And one reason that I'm exceptionally proud of this update that Daniel's about to give is we only started a couple months ago. And the update he's going to give is going to demonstrate that our engineering efforts have been moving along at an extremely rapid pace and are kind of really on schedule for what we expected. And I think this is actually not the standard. If you look at the general crypto community, like announcements get made, projects get delayed endlessly. And so when we put in all the pre-work to kind of create an estimation of when these projects will get done, and then the team works extremely hard to execute on that, and then they demonstrate progress and like they're constantly on track. I personally, as an engineering leader, am proud of the high performing team that we have at IF Labs. And I actually think that this demonstrates why Ironfish is able to execute when we say we're going to build something and IF Labs is on that project, the project gets done on time, high quality, and delivered to the community. So I'm going to let Daniel take it away and talk to you about all the amazing work that they've been working on and the features that they've been able to accomplish in such a short period of time.
Thanks, Jason. How's my audio? My headphones have been really bad lately. Good.
Oh yeah, we can hear you. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, as Jason said, we started maybe 2 months ago on this project, maybe a month and a half ago, actually building stuff. And we're working on the prototype, which is just getting an EVM working on Ironfish, being able to move assets back and forth between the EVM side and our private side. And I would say we're 75 to 80% done with that prototype. We've pushed off a couple of problems like paying for gas and fees until later on in the prototype phase, but we have a working EVM running, being EVM transactions can be added to blocks, confirmed in blocks. You can shield and unshield assets move them back and forth between the EVM and private side. So all of that is essentially working on an Ironfish node. So yeah, me and Hugh and Joe and Raul have been working on that, and we've made great progress. So it's exciting to see that we actually have something very tangible to show after such a short time. So I'm going to hand it off to Hugh, who's going to talk about some of the future work coming up with that project.
So as Daniel mentioned, we're maybe 75% of the way through our initial prototype. And most of the testing that we've been able to do so far has been running dev networks of single node on our own machines. So the next steps are getting the peer networking updated so that we can run a network of multiple nodes to get a more accurate representation of what it will be like to run an EVM on the Ironfish network. And then there are some things that we need to resolve with the way that EVM gas will work on Ironfish, looking at kind of the fee market approaches that have been taken on Ethereum and deciding how best to integrate that into Ironfish. But we're making great progress, and we're very close to a working EVM prototype on Ironfish.
Yeah, this is awesome. And just to, highlight some of these features even more, the core of Ironfish works on a UTXO layer, and that's because that's the most efficient data structure to preserve privacy. And so if you guys, kind of are familiar with these terms, Bitcoin is also, for instance, a UTXO chain. And an EVM is an account-based model. And so to kind of marry both the EVM and UTXO is very, very non-trivial. We put a lot of thought into this. And the team is moving like very much lightning speed. So this is an extremely cool feature to see develop, and it was one of these projects that like felt way too big to even start. And the prototype is pretty much almost complete. So that's really incredible to see. Okay, next up is wallet encryption with Rohan. Rohan, do you want to give some updates here?
Yeah, thanks, Elena. So wallet encryption is a project we have mentioned a few times in the updates, but just as a reminder, this project is trying to protect the private keys of Ironfish wallets. Currently, all your private keys are stored on disk in plaintext, and with this project, you'll be able to add an additional passphrase, so only encrypted data is stored on disk. So it's a really good feature for security, and if anybody gets a hold of your machine, they won't be able to access your keys and therefore your funds. This is a very similar project if you've used like MetaMask or Ravi or any of the popular wallets. Generally, when you open it for the first time, you have to enter a passphrase, and then you actually get access to your accounts. So all the features we'll build as part of this project will be very similar to that. So this project is on schedule. We're targeting to release it probably in the next couple of weeks, maybe like at the end of August or early September. We have currently implemented the functions for encryption and decryption, and some database changes have gone into our staging code base. And next we'll be working on actually adding all the RPC updates as well as some locking, unlocking, encrypt and decrypt commands. So stay tuned for that. Should be out in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, that's all I have for wallet encryption.
All right, awesome. So next up is some of our updates on our mobile wallet efforts. And I know that project has been on and off because resources have been kind of funneled into some of these other projects, but we are finally getting some of the resources back to start working this project in full force. Derek, do you want to give more color here?
Hello. Yeah, sure. I'll give an update on how things have been going on the mobile wallet. So I've still been working on the implementation of the wallet code itself, and I've got to a point now where all the transactions are getting decrypted, and we're generating balances for all the accounts that are connected. So the only piece that's remaining there is the ability to create transactions, as well as a few little things like supporting multi-asset But it's a little bit easier to do this on a mobile wallet rather than on like the desktop node, because the light wallets or mobile wallets, which our mobile wallet is, kind of assumes like there's a trusted source of information about the blockchain somewhere, the wallet server. And so rather than needing to like sync down all of the different assets that have been created and then to determine like the names of every asset on the chain, we can just ask like the Block Explorer API for it, for example. So the main piece still to go there is creating a transaction, but the syncing has been going great so far, and the balance calculation as well. So I've just been working on developing that prototype out. And like Elena said, we'll have more resources coming back. Dan's going to start development on the front end, and he's working on implementing some of the designs and design systems that Skylar has implemented. He'll be doing that once he finishes up the remaining work on the ledger support in the Node app. And Skylar, over the past month, we've been going through and doing kind of deeper dives into all the different screens in the wallet app. And he's starting to put polish on them. So like the main flow of the screens have been finalized, and he's working on putting some better design into them and putting all the screens together into like a prototype that can be interacted with. And I think he might reach out and to the community at some point and ask some people for some feedback on that as well. But yeah, so I think we're getting to the point where we're going to start, I think, getting full resourcing back on the project, which is pretty exciting. And yeah, I'm looking forward to continuing to work on it.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to see it. All right. Next up is going to be some updates in the community. Update is on Oreo Wallet. And Fish Guy has made some announcements in the general channel about how to use it. He is actually going to be covering some of the gas fees for people who want to try it, which is amazing. So I highly encourage you to try it. So I want to kind of give a brief overview of why this project is so cool. So as you know, for a transparent chain, doing a browser extension wallet is fairly trivial because, again, if you wanted to find out a balance of your own wallet, you can just ask any full node about, here's the public address, what's my balance. For a private chain, it's actually much more difficult because that's the whole point. You can't ask a third-party full node about the balance of your own wallet because everything is private. And so the actual syncing of wallets becomes a really hard technical challenge, how to delegate resources for an external server to index on your behalf to make sure that the balances for your browser wallet are correct. And so I wonder if I can just, I'm not sure, do you guys still, I can't actually see my own live stream, which is kind of unfortunate. Can people, I wonder, oh, okay, great. Okay, now I can see it. So unfortunately, my my Node app is not synced because I wanted to show you guys a live demo of how it's actually syncing. So I'm gonna just have to show you the transaction history and show you that it works. But this is a full browser extension. Apologies that my screen is so large; it's on my big screen. But I just wanted to show you that this wallet works and it works really well. You can export your wallet and do all these things. You can also manage your network. So for instance, you can change which server you're using for the actual indexing of your wallet. You can, there are currently no NFTs, but you can see your own transaction history and how it's syncing. Now, again, I don't need to run a full node. Oh yeah, sorry, that's so tiny. Gosh, I don't know how to make it less tiny. All right, you have to trust me that that it's there. But yeah, I could actually receive funds in Iron as well as different assets without needing to run a full node, which is huge for accessibility purposes because privacy chains have been notoriously very difficult to use because you're forced to run a full node. And we have made it very easy to run a full node, and I think our Node app is beautiful. But the fact that you have this available is really, really helpful. Sorry for the tiny thing. I didn't realize how to... yeah. All right. Oops. Oh gosh. So some of the conferences, just to kind of give you a brief overview. So we are confirmed to do Pragma Singapore. So if you guys are in Singapore for Token 2049, for instance, or you're going to be at ETH Singapore, which is an amazing event, and it was an amazing event last year as well. Pragma Singapore is part of ETH Global. It's part of ETH Singapore. It's just it's the day before when all the talks are happening. So this is very exciting for us. September 19th is like we're very close to launching Chainport, and we're hoping that would be the date that we can highlight Chainport support and make Ironfish be accessible to EVM chains, specifically Ethereum. And we want to really showcase that at that event. So if you happen to be in Singapore or want to be there, please let us know. We'd be excited to meet you. Permissionless is still confirmed. There's 2 more conferences that we're TBD on. And then obviously we're in the Bay Area, so there's ETH San Francisco happening, and then Pragma San Francisco as well. So if you just happen to be in the Bay Area in California, let us know. We'll be hosting some events there as well. So next up is I do want to share some updates on community managers. I'm as you know, we've had 3 community managers so far. We had Edwin, who's on this call. We had Roman and Johnny. We are going to be doing some restructuring on the foundation side. And so as part of that, we are unfortunately letting go of some of those community managers. And so you will be kind of seeing a different type of response time on our Discord. It'll be coming from me or some of the IF Labs folks and kind of all the people in our community. And so, it's very bittersweet. And some of those people are incredible community managers. And so we hope to potentially work with them in the future. But for now, we decided to kind of restructure things let some of those people go. And then Kelly on this call as well. Her last day, as well as Edwin's day and Johnny and Roman's day, their last day is going to be actually today. So if you're in Discord, please give them a shout out and just let them know how what a good job they've been doing for our community management so far. Cool. Well, I think that pretty much wraps up our updates. As always, if you have any questions, the team is always here. We're in the general channel. We're in the questions channel. And we'll be cleaning up some of the Discord channels as well. So there's not that many of them. But yeah, we're always here. And yeah, please give a shout out to all of our community managers because they've been amazing. Cool. Well, I'm just going to wait for a few more minutes to see if there are any questions, and then we'll go ahead and close this out. As always, happy Friday, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us on a Friday. Very glad that people are willing to spend their Friday with the IF Labs and Ironfish Foundation team. Gonna wait for a few more people to finish their typing. But overall, it's been great progress so far, and we'll be doing more tweets about some of the work in progress and some of the PRs. If you guys are interested, a lot of the progress first goes into the staging branch on the Ironfish GitHub repo. So if you really wanted to see the up-to-date progress, that would be probably the best branch to kind of keep an eye out. The master branch we only use for releases, and so therefore you may see slower movement on the master branch because we want to make sure that branch only has really well tested out code. So yeah, if you wanted to see things that are like really hot off the burner, check out the staging branch. All right. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you all have an amazing weekend. All right. Bye.